Choose Your Legends is pretty cool. Not only is it because the fans of Fire Emblem Heroes can vote which character will have a special version on the banner, but because we get to pick any one of the 4 to be our free summon. Considering all the characters in this category that have been released so far are great, the question still stands. Which one is the best? That's what we'll be answering today, so make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already, because I'd really appreciate that. But before we continue, as always, there's a brand new giveaway you can enter for free using the link in the video description. Regardless of where you live, you can grant yourself a chance to win a $25 Google Play or iTunes gift card. That being said, let's get to the units.
Your feelings give me strength.
Starting things off with the warrior priestess Celica, she's pretty cool. As a part of the second batch in the Choose Your Legends event, she certainly did not disappoint. If you take a look at her stats, you can see that she heavily excels in speed, making her one of the fastest characters in the game, only to be behind Carla and Mia. But her attack is also pretty good, while her defenses are quite average. But moving on to her default kit, we've got the Royal Sword for the weapon, which has a might of 16 and grants plus 3 speed, while also giving the effect of granting her a cooldown charge for her special per attack so long as she's in within 2 spaces of an ally. That's pretty cool, especially with high cooldown specials like the one she comes with Gale Force at a cooldown of 5. Next for her passives, she's got Death Blow 4 for the A slot, which is crazy because it only went to 3 until she came out. The best part is you can also steal it from her. It is premium currently, but it just might be worth it. For her B slot, she's got Double Lion, which allows her to attack twice if you initiate combat, but you have to be at 100% health, which might be hard since the skill itself deals 1 damage to Celica after combat. Then she's got Attack Tactic 3 for the C slot, which is always useful if you meet the requirements. If you want Celica, she's summonable at 5-star rarity in the redstone, so good luck. But once you do get her, here are some builds you can take into consideration in order of more budget friendly at the far left, and more resources consumed the more to the right you go. Keep this in mind since all the builds shown in this video will be done in that order. While you're looking at the builds, let's talk about the ups and downs of CYL Celica. Starting with the ups, her weapon, the Royal Sword, is pretty damn good. Sure, the speed plus 3 is nice, but what really makes it shine is the special charges you get when you have an ally within 2 spaces. You can pretty much make this guaranteed, rather than using a skill or seal like Heavy Blade or Flashing Blade, since you always won't win the stat comparison, so this is far more safe. Plus, you save either a passive skill or a seal, which can open up more possibilities. Next, she has a Double Lion skill, which makes it a lot easier for her to 1-round KO a lot of heroes without taking any damage herself, outside of the 1 damage from the actual skill itself, of course. That also opens up the opportunity to literally quad consecutively with the Fire Sweep Sword, which is just a sight to see, as well as the Armor Smasher, which is deadly against these Armor Emblem teams you see running, or slowly walking rather, nowadays. If we move on to the negatives, it's pretty messed up since Double Lion is one of them. I know it's on the positive list, but check this out. You take 1 damage after the fact and you need 100% of your health to keep using the skill. So literally after the first time you use it, unless you have a special that heals you or a healer on your team, you're not going to be able to use that again. Honestly, that's basically the only drawback as far as I can tell. Sure, her defenses aren't the greatest, but for what she is, a character that's not supposed to be hit, she is fine. All that being said though, when it comes to infantry sword users, and there's a lot of them, the warrior priestess Celica certainly stands out in a great way, which is why she is number 5 on this list.
The enemy!
Next up, we have one of the characters in the game that have helped me in too many maps to count, brave Lady Lin. She was a part of the very first batch in the Choose Your Legends event, and best believe she was my free summon. She was the first Cavalier bow user, and it changed the whole horse emblem situation into something real beautiful. If you take a look at her stats, you can see that she does well in attack speed, resistance, and well, that's it. But that's all she needs really, as you will see once we get into her default kit. Starting with her weapon, the Mula Gear, which as far as I'm concerned doesn't have a confirmed pronunciation, so I try my best. It gives her plus 3 speed as well as nullifying bonuses like Fortify or Rally during combat if you're fighting a magic user, which is cool. Then for her special, she's got Draconic Aura with her passes being Swift Borrow 2 for the A slot, Sakei's Blessing for the B slot, and Attack Smoke 3 for the C slot. Remember I said earlier that attack and speed is all she needs? Well, Sakei's Blessing is the reason I said that. Basically, if you're fighting a sword, lance, or axe user, they cannot counterattack whenever you attack them. That's crazy, since everyone likes to run around with distant counter, whether it be built into their weapon or as the A slot. Having this skill equipped will basically free you of any worry when it comes to those types of counter attacks. If you want Brave Lady Lin, good luck. There's so much garbage in the colorless pool, you're gonna be swimming there for a while, but once you do get her, it's some good stuff. Once you do get her, here are some builds you can go with, and while you look at those, let's talk about the positives and negatives of Brave Lin. Starting with the positives, we've got to talk about the stats. She's strong, fast, and can be a magic check if you need her to be. Next, she can get the Cavalry cavalry boost that comes with hone or fortify skills, which will be absolutely beautiful. Also, Sakei's blessing is amazing because you'll have no worry about attacking those sword, lance, or axe units since they won't be able to counter. But it's time to talk about the negatives. She can get destroyed quite easily by bulky dragons, and you know how common dragons are in the game. A lot of people love to use them, and brave Lady Lin can have some trouble dealing with them since Sakei's blessing doesn't apply against breath weapons, therefore she can get knocked out quite easily due to lightning breath plus or whatever it may be, allowing a counterattack. Also, all armored units with upwards of 45 defense in arena don't take any damage from her for the most part. So all you get is some special cooldown charge. That can be a big problem since you're almost a sitting duck at that point. All in all though, brave Lady Lin is absolutely insane, and she's been a huge help in both normal maps as well as arena duels, which is why she's number 4 on this top 5.
Take me with you.
Following the brave lady, we've got the brave princess herself, Veronica. Now she is quite interesting. Honestly speaking, when the game first came out, I never thought she'd be playable, but here we are. I guess a lot of you wanted to play as her since she did indeed get very far in the second Choose Your Legends event. If you take a look at her stats, you can see that she does quite well in attack and speed, but falls short in everything else. It's no big deal though because her kit is real nice, so let's talk about it. Starting with her default weapon, yeah, that thing. It has a might of 14 and enemies can't counterattack it, but that's not the best part. After combat, if you attack, the target gets -4 to every stat and all enemies within 2 spaces get hit with the same stat loss through their next actions. That's already really good, but on top of that, Veronica and all allies within 2 spaces get +4 to all stats for 1 turn. That's a lot to take in, but it's all great stuff. Next, for her assist skill, she's got Recover Plus, which is good since Veronica does have a good amount of attack. Next, for her special, she's got Wind Firebomb Plus, and that grants +6 attack and speed to all allies after healing someone with the staff. That's a lot of stat boost to give someone, some crazy support here, let me tell you. Next, for her passives, we've got Wrathful Staff 3 for the B slot, which of course is a must have for someone like this. Then she's got Close Guard 3, which grants allies within 2 spaces +4 defense and resistance during combat, when in combat with the sword, lance, axe, or dragonstone user. You know, going through all this again sure does make me feel real good about picking her as my free summon, but if you didn't make the same choice I did, you can get Veronica on the colorless summoning stones with a little bit of luck on your side. Once you do get her, here are some builds you can go for if you so wish. But while you look at those, we've got to speak on the good as well as the bad. Starting with the good, of course, she's the strongest and fastest healer you're ever gonna get, and that's just facts. No contest, well actually some contest, but still, she's one of the best units for clearing in-game content, since she has so much utility. The reason she isn't any higher on the list is because she doesn't have 1-round KO potential. Next, the effects of her weapon are just insane since allies within range gain +4 to all stats while all enemies within range lose -4, which can easily grant opportunities for higher damage output since you have a higher chance to both double and take advantage of the drop in defenses. Plus, Veronica is on a horse, so you can put her on a cavalry team and that would work really well, since the hone and fortify boosts will already put you in the position to keep allies close anyway, so her weapon effect will be your best friend. As for the bad, she isn't that bulky. Although that can be said for a lot of healers, it still doesn't change the fact that she probably won't be able to take many hits if any at all. That's it though, Veronica is hands down the best healer in the game and it's by a landslide, which is why she is number 3 on this list.
No one can stop me!
Next up, we've got the Sacred Twin Lord Ephraim. I know some of you may have been expecting him to be number 1, but let's talk about it. Starting with the stats, he's an armor unit, so he's pretty bulky and strong while not being the fastest unit in the world. But he doesn't really need speed to double, as you'll see shortly once we move into his kit. His default weapon, the Garm, has a might of 16 and it grants +3 attack. But that's not the best part. If a bonus is granted through a skill such as Rally, Hone, or a movement boost by Armor March or the Armored Boot Seal, Ephraim makes a guaranteed follow-up attack. That's pretty insane considering someone who doesn't have the highest speed in the world can consistently confirm attacking twice. But if we move on to the special skill, he's got Draconic Aura, which is cool I guess. As for the passives, he's got Close Defense 3 for the A slot, Special Fighter 3 for the B slot, which is pretty nutty since he gets a special cooldown charge per attack, while also taking one away from the foe as long as his HP is above 50%. You can't rob him of this skill, but damn, that's a juicy one for sure. Then for his C slot, he's got Armor March 3, which is the cherry on top after seeing his weapon effect. He's looking pretty damn good so far. If you want him, just summon on green on a banner where he's available, and then maybe after 30 mercs or so you'll get him if you're lucky. Once you get him, here are some builds you can use for inspiration. While you look at those, let's get into some ups and downs of Ephraim, starting with the ups of course. Outside of the bit he's lacking in resistance, this guy is just the armored unit to have. He can tank hits with his high HP and defense in the enemy phase, but he'd also have no trouble dishing the damage right back, seeing as how he has the second highest base attack in the game at the moment. Next, he is literally ready to go right outside the box, and that includes Special Fighter, which currently only Ephraim comes with. Although it is inheritable for your other armor units, he uses it very well, and it's a match made in heaven with his weapon effect and bulky stats. Also, you can easily trigger his weapon effect, so you'll have no problem doubling. Now for the downs, there really aren't any, so that's cool. That's it really, so in short, Ephraim is just the ideal armor unit, and for that, I'm all in, which is why he is number 2. Before we get into the best Choose Your Legends character in Fire Emblem Heroes, here are some honorable mentions. Literally the rest of the characters that aren't on the list are here, but if I put the pictures up then you'll see who's number 1, so I don't know what to do. Here, we'll do it like this with the outline so it's a guessing game, but yeah, they're all solid really. Whether you want to use them on your team or snatch their skills right out of their hands, they got it all. But with all that being said, let's get into number 1.
Your luck's run out!
And at the number 1 spot is the brave warrior Hector. You know, I'm starting to get real tired of this guy hogging the distant counter skill because I got a list of like 10 guys waiting to get it, but he keeps it all to himself and he's not easy to find either. But personal feelings aside, let's look at his stats. Well, would you look at that, a bulky and strong armored unit, isn't that surprising? But for real, it's some good bulk and high attack, so it's cool. As for his kit, he's got the Meltet for his weapon, which gives you special cooldown -1, but also if your HP is above 50% on the enemy attacks, you make a guaranteed follow-up attack, making him a pretty good enemy phase unit. For his special, he has Ignis, which is standard for bulky units nowadays, but moving on to the passives, we've got Ostian Counter for the A slot, which is like distant counter except it gives you a +4 attack and defense boost during combat if the enemy attacks, so pushing an enemy phase agenda once again. For his B slot, he has Bold Fighter 3, which is always nice, and then even Resistance Wave 3 for the C slot, which is cute I guess. If you want him, summon on blue whenever he's on the banner, which should be almost all of them, and then hope for him to bless your screen. But once you do get him, here are some builds you can run if you so wish, and while you look at that, I gotta touch more on what's good with him and what's not. Starting with what's good, he's thick as hell, like for real. When it comes to physical attacks, paired with the Ostian counter, good freaking luck getting rid of this guy on the enemy phase, because if you don't, the guaranteed follow-up attack and special cooldown charge lord right off the bat, he's gonna hurt the enemy real bad. He's also ready right out of the box, so you won't need to fodder much if you want to use him right away. As for what's not good, honestly, it's just his speed, but really, that's expected. That being said, he can take big damage and make it seem little while leaving holes in the enemy team, which is why Brave Warrior Hector is the best Choose Your Legends unit in Fire Emblem Heroes. Thank you guys so much for watching, I hope you all enjoyed. If so, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already, as well as leaving a comment with your own top 5 Choose Your Legends units, or suggest what video I should make next. Also, a huge thanks to Phoenix Master 1 for the builds shown in this video, as well as refining the script. You can find his channel in the video description or on screen now. That being said, make sure to check out my other videos along with the giveaway in the video description. Good luck, and I will catch you guys later.